Hey everybody, just finishing up doing a quick restoration on a 1973 Cooper Islo 250. Picked this one up along with 3 other parts bikes from a guy here in town who'd collected a bunch of the Cooper stuff over the years, and decided to put together one vintage motocross bike that I can run in the vintage races this year, 2017, and put together one of the other enduros as well. So I have a lot of nice parts for that one, and still have a whole bunch of parts left over in case I run into any problems here. So thank you, Ron, for selling me your cool old collection of Cooper stuff. And this one went together really well. You know, I did a frame off restoration, rebuilt the motor. You know, when we had thought that one of the motors was kind of ready to go. It was marked as being rebuilt and new and all that, and then when I got home I realized that the end of the crankshaft had been cut off, so there was no keeping the flywheel on. So I went ahead and rebuilt one of the other motors. This has an NOS piston. One of the nice things about these Islos is that they were copies of the Yamaha DT250, and therefore you can use DT250 pistons, rings, rod as I understand it as well. I think with some minor modifications I could even modify a DT250 cylinder and head to this. I might have to change out the studs on this, but pretty cool little motors, really bulletproof bottom ends on these. You know, you think of maybe stuff from Mexico not being the highest quality, but the Islo plant put out some really good quality stuff back in the day, in the early 70s and all, when they were putting these together. The entire transmission, gears, everything were Magnafluxed before they were ever assembled at the factory. They had a really good hardening process. There's never, as far as everything I can read and find on the Coopers, which is somewhat limited, but I don't see any issues with the bottom ends on these things. The cases are certainly tough. The side covers are incredibly tough. Neat little vintage bikes. If you can pick one up at a reasonable price, put one together, because all the parts are available on eBay. You know, it may take you a little bit of time, but you know, like I said, most of the things like the top end on a 2-stroke, you know, that's mostly Yamaha DT stuff. These are the original. I don't know if you can see that. This camera might not focus in on that, but right here is the Bader stamp, made in Mexico. So if you're looking for one of these old ones, check and see if it has the original Bader made in Mexico forks. They have about 7 inches of travel, which was really good for the time. You know, brakes are marginal drums. That's just what they were. The rims got a bad rap from all of the magazine reviews of the time, and these actually seem pretty tough. They're like a rimmed, you know, they've got it's steel rim, but they're rimmed, and they seem pretty strong. I'm going to be interested to see how these rims do out there. The ones that seem to really have the issue when they're talking about, here's another Cooper Enduro that I'm going to get started on here soon. The ones that seem to have the issue do not have the shoulders on them like the one on the MX bike there. And these seem to be a little bit easier to bend. This one has a tweak in it that I think I can work out, but I'm thinking these shouldered ones here actually aren't too bad. They have sort of a European looking rear hub, chain on the right, kickstart on the left. I went ahead and put a set of Preston Petty vintage fenders on this, just because I wanted something that would flex. One of the other complaints of the bike in the early years was that the fiberglass fenders were too fragile and cracked and broke easily in competition and all. Same with the fiberglass tank. They say that they're a little fragile. So what I actually did was, although the outside here seems very tough, the underside was super thin, and so I cleaned that up real well and put on a couple more layers of fiberglass on the underside, and then went ahead and coated the tank as well with a tank sealer, just because the ethanol fuels these days are tough on fiberglass. Reinforced the side panels as well with a couple more extra layers of fiberglass. Had the seat redone, obviously. But these are really, I liked the way the motors were designed and the machining and all. Although some of the casting's a little rough, the machine work and all seemed to be very good. I went ahead and put a slightly oversized Mikuni on here because in my Cooper upgrade book here for upgrades for performance, they suggest you put on a I forget, I'm gonna have to look that up. I think I went from a 32 to a 34 Mikuni there, if I remember right. Still haven't hooked up my kill switch wire here, got to do that. But got new tires, got everything kind of ready to go here. This is just a quick overview. I'm going to do some other YouTube videos, so come look for them for Cooper Islo, Mexico. Come take a look for my other videos. I'm going to have some short ones on some of the specifics of this bike, like setting up the ignition. Let's see, the frame variations. I have 4 frames from this. Every one of them is different, and they're just from 2 years. So I'll see if I can figure out exactly why they are different and show you the differences. So if you're looking for one, this I went ahead and put the downpipe on it because nothing says vintage motocross like a downpipe. The others that I'm going to be putting together are they all have up pipes. I've got some extra Cooper tanks and all that. I'll go over the steel tank. From what I understand, is first year Cooper stuff for the MX. I went ahead and put fiberglass just because I like the looks of this. It's more of a almost a bull taco-y look to it. And neat little bike. It ought to be fun to run at the races here. Check out my other videos, and I'll get them up shortly here. Thanks.